What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Career Mode. This is episode number 259, and we start today's episode off with that FA Cup replay against Spurs here at White Hart Lane. Of course, in the last episode, if you didn't see it, we took on Spurs at the Den and we drew, which means we are in a replay here in this round of 16 clash to see who will go through between our former club and our current club. And yeah, taking on Spurs, obviously, again, I rested a couple of players, but the vast majority were first 11 players. And I said why in the last episode. Usually in the cup competitions I do rest my entire first 11 or a large chunk of them regardless, but against Spurs it generally is, Goliath versus Goliath. So it's such a really competitive clash, and I don't want to risk losing the game by playing weaker players. But we almost got the perfect start of the game in the 8th minute. Liani made a really good save, and then the follow-up shot ended up hitting the post. So still 0-0, but we started very brightly, and in the 30th minute another great chance here. Luke Shaw collects the ball down his left hand side. He's got space for a cross. He picks out Eric Dier, but Eric Dier hits the bar, and Spurs just about managed to scramble the ball away. So twice we'd hit the woodwork in the opening 30 minutes. We were looking very threatening, and in the 35th minute another great chance for Sterling here down his right hand side. We got players coming on the break, a great counter attack, and Oscar Polo keeps his cool, slides it under Liali's body, and makes it Spurs 0, Millwall 1. So it was only going to be a matter of time before we did score here at White Hart Lane, because we had such a great start. And thankfully we did get a goal there to make it 1-0, so very pleased with the finish by Polo. And in the 49th minute we almost made it 2-0. That cross wasn't really dealt with by Liali, but unfortunately we had no one following up. A few minutes later Spurs go through for a rare attack themselves. Anthony Wynn, a transfer target in mind, collects the ball, goes down left hand side and shoots, but thankfully it's a good stop by Butland as he turns it behind for a corner. And a few minutes later, just past the hour mark, it's Brian Carrasco who gets on the ball here. He goes down the right hand side, he's got the pace to beat Otsemabor, but he passes it back to Triggsy. Triggsy collects the ball, then plays it back to Brian Carrasco, takes on Danny Rose, a former teammate, beats him with the Berber spin, then cuts inside with the advanced rainbow and shoots. It's a great save by Liali, but Oscar Polo turns in the rebound and makes it Spurs 0, Millwall 2. So Polo gets his second of the game, and I would have liked Carrasco to have finished off that lovely run, but it's Polo gets the goal. It took a minor deflection, but I think it was going in regardless, and it's Spurs 0, Millwall 2, and we're surely now on our way through to the FA Cup quarter-finals, as John Joanderson almost made it 3-0 here, but his shot was quite subpar and it went over the bar and out for a goal kick. And in the 81st minute another good chance for a corner here, and we did score it as well to make it Spurs 0, Millwall 3. Kevin Bartley, I do believe it was Bartley who got the goal. I think it was Bartley. Makes it 3-0 here from this corner. And we are surely through now. Well, we're definitely through now to the FA Cup quarter-finals, and Carrasco could have made it 4-0 here after a lovely run down his right hand side. What a great shot of pace by the 31-year-old. Keeps on going, tried to chip it over Liali and find a far corner, but I put too much power on it and it goes behind for a goal kick. So still Spurs 0, Millwall 3, and we are cruising through to the next round of the FA Cup. And after the very tight game at the Den, after the very frustrating game at the Den, which finished 1 apiece, I was surprised that Spurs didn't really attack very well in this game. Although having said that, you would have seen by their lineup they did rest quite a lot of their first 11 players for this game. Players such as Otsemabor and Leo Chambers started this game, and of course they didn't start in the reverse game, or the first game I should say, at the Den. But even so, you would have expected a little bit better from them regardless, but they didn't play well. We played fantastically well, and we are through to the FA Cup quarter-finals after a convincing 3-0 win at our old stamping ground. And yeah, touch wood, this treble chance remains, and hopefully we will keep on going and keep on progressing in all the competitions. So we're through to the FA Cup quarter-finals. We'll be taking on Charlton Athletic in a London derby. Cannot wait for that one, and that should be a good quarter-final tie, which we should hopefully, again, touch wood, be able to go through. We'll definitely be favourites regardless. Anyway, we enter a new month here. We are now into March, and you can see how the players are doing in our youth academy. It's a shame because finally we've got quite a few good players in our youth academy. It's looking like our old FIFA 13 youth academy. If anyone was subbed to me back then in my FIFA 13 career mode, when we just had an abundance of talent in our youth academy. We've got quite a lot of players here that could one day develop into the next Marcano or the next Triggs or whoever you like. But yeah, unfortunately for us, we're not going to be able to get to use any of them. But there you go. And you can see as well, we had 2 player conversations. John Joanderson's happy that he's in the first 11 a bit more since returning from loan, and Glenn Robinson wants to be sold in the next transfer window. But what he doesn't know is the career mode's going to end before the next transfer window begins. so unfortunately he's going to be trapped in a Millwall shirt for all eternity. But anyway, we take on we take on the squad report. We have a squad report here, the first one of March, obviously, and the only one of March as well. We have a squad report here, one of the final ones of the series as well, and you can check out how the players are doing. It's so disappointing to see Carrasco decreasing in stats, but unfortunately there's nothing I can do about that. So long as he doesn't drop below 80 before this series ends, which, you know, touch wood, he shouldn't do, I'm okay. And he's looking very, very good still, even at 31, even with him decreasing in stats. He is without doubt been one of my best ever career mode buys, if not the best ever. And yeah, you can see how the squad's doing. So many good players are progressing, the young players as well, who even, you know, I haven't given them too much game time this year, yet they're still progressing. Players like Anderson Rodriguez, who's had limited chances this year, is still progressing, and he's now up to 80. It's really great. And here's a look at the league table as well. 13 games to go. We are on top of the league table by 2 points. Spurs are in second with 64. We got 66. And surprisingly, Arsenal are in third with 64, I think, or maybe 63. So Arsenal are actually in this title race, although us, Millwall and Spurs have, you know, both us, Millwall and Spurs, have got games in hand over Arsenal. It's surprising to see they've actually kept faith in the title race. You know, usually Arsenal tend to fade away a little bit, but it's surprising to see they're actually in third place. That's good. Hopefully this year we'll have a three-way final day. That would be fantastic, won't it? But we'll have to wait and see. You know, usually those sides that are in third and fourth do fade away towards the end of the season, but hopefully, touch wood, they'll still be with us come the end of the season, because I don't want it to be Millwall and Spurs to end the series as well, because it just gets boring after a while. But anyway, we take on Palace here for the second and final game of today's episode, using the leather ball again. Now, you would have seen in the last episode we used it against Dortmund and we won 4-1. We then used the leather ball against Spurs and we won 3-0. So I thought, do you know what, even though the leather ball doesn't look very nice, it actually looks like one of those mini chocolate footballs I got as a kid. Even though it doesn't look very nice in game, it probably is quite hard to see on the video, so I'll have to change it in the future. I will promise to change it in the future. We're winning games using this leather ball. This leather ball is like specifically designed for my players or something stupid, because we're looking very convincing when using the leather ball, and that's why I kept on using it. But we did actually score eventually in the 28th minute here to make it 1-0. Leao Gutierrez, one of the very rare first 11 players starting in this game, getting onto the cross from Suso. Again, another rare first 11 player starting this game, because they were of course rested for the Palace game, the Spurs game. They were ready for this game, and I did rest the vast majority of the players for this game, the first 11 players I should say. Those two started and they linked up for the first goal of the game. Makola then ended up making the scoreline 2-0 here just before the 39th minute mark. Lovely goal as well, lovely little ball rolled into a reverse step over, and the Palace defender who was marking him, he just didn't know where to go. You saw him there just get spun in a 360 degree point there, or maybe 180 degree point. I don't know, I'm terrible at maths, but still very, very nice turn by Makola. He just completely outfoxed the defender and smashed it in to make it Millwall 2, Palace 0. And in the 64th minute here, another good chance for us as Junior Malanda collects the ball, spreads it out wide towards Suso here. Lovely little roulette to beat his man, and a great ball into the centre, which Malanda strikes on a volley, but it goes just over the bar and out for a goal kick. So lovely link-up play there, but unfortunately it was still 2-0, and I couldn't find the third goal, which I was hoping to get, obviously, to really sort of rub the salt into the wounds of Palace. And in the 65th minute, you see Howell get on the ball for us here. Sean Howell, the rare starter. He finds it, well, he tries to find Ezekiel and gives the ball away, but eventually Palace also get the ball away. Ezekiel eventually gets onto the ball, finds Malanda. Malanda spreads it out wide towards Suso again. Are those two going to link up again? Well, unfortunately not, because Malanda stays out of the box. But as Suso jinks around his man, he finds Ezekiel instead, but his header goes just wide and out for a goal kick. So Ezekiel almost making it 3-0 there, but still 2-0, and a very dominant display, really. You know, I'd like to score a few more goals, but Palace, they didn't really threaten at all in this game, to be honest. They were quite subpar, and in the 74th minute, another great chance. Ezekiel does find Sean Howell, who ends up fake shotting around his man. Really good chance here, keeps on going. Wonderful couple of skill moves there, keeps on going, fizzes in across. Palace failed to deal with it, and Anderson Rodriguez, who I just mentioned a minute ago, has progressed really nicely this year, despite getting you know, his least ever first team opportunities. Makes it Millwall 3, Palace 0. And in the 79th minute they had a free kick, but that just summed up their night even. They were playing really, really poorly, and they barely had any kind of threat, to be honest, and it was still 3-0 from the goal kick. We passed the ball around, gave it to Lee Catamol. It's a brilliant ball by Catamol over the top towards Makola, who's just on the side, says the linesman. Keeps on going, across the ball to the far post, and Ezekiel makes it Millwall 4, Palace 0. So what can I say, man? Another dominant display, another brilliant victory, and this leather ball, it's all about the leather ball, I'm telling you, it's all about the leather ball. That's why we're winning these games so comprehensively. But as always, guys, a big thank you for watching the video. I really hope you have enjoyed. If you have enjoyed the episode, then please leave a like, because it's much appreciated, and it really does help my channel out. And I'll see you for the next episode of Career Mode very soon.
Well, there was really only one team in that game, and their fans will be travelling home delighted with their big victory.